Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Torchlight 2. There's something almost poetic in the fact that when you pause the menu, the game becomes all about you and zooms in completely on you. But then when you unpause the menu, the game zooms out because it's not about you at that point. Like, particularly if you were doing LAN play or cloud play, there would be other players, human players. But also, you have your pet, you have the enemies, you have everything in the level design. All of that becomes an element. This is a lot of stuff going on at once here. Is there somebody summoning all these characters around here? Or is it simply a case where, yeah, I guess this guy possibly was summoning them. I'm not even sure what we're doing. I think what we're doing right now is we are cleaning up the area in the north because we just missed some stuff.
Quest complete.
Yeah, this was the side quest of finding the lost key. And it's a real shame because, like, immediately I get in this room and there's not a lot of room here even in it, but the procedural generation on this just does not feel good. And perhaps a deeper argument could be made that players like me have just been trained to expect that when you walk into a boss room, it's just going to be an almost complete circle of open area with very little natural barriers on the edges. Okay. So I kind of have to assume that I've done everything else in this Frosted Hills area after this. This is it, the Golden Gear. I thank you on behalf of the Zephyri people. This might have tipped the battle in our favor. I can only offer you this as payment, but if you're ever in Zephyrus, come find me and I will grant you a proper reward. So we can take a item worth 100. We could take an item worth 81. Or we could take this, which is worth the most and actually I think is more interesting.
You have gained in fame.
This bug was in the first game. I know this bug was in the first game, where you would click on something on the mouse and then it would lock up for a very long amount of time. We can move some things over, but we're not likely even going to have a high amount of items to sell. This was just a side quest that we would have done. So we have to wait till we're level 25 to get this, so we could either get supercharge, we could try to bring up this, or we could try to bring up this. Or we go something new, which it'd be more interesting to do something new. So when you slay an enemy, you have a chance to absorb energy to fill your charge bar. This ability cannot Trigger more than once every 3 seconds. I don't think we're going shield bash. Explosive attack when you get hit. That means I wouldn't have to right click, which kind of makes the game a little bit on automatic. I was coincidentally reminded that Diablo Immortal on cell phones actually does exist, although I think it still has a season element to it, and frankly it doesn't control any better than any other game on cell phones, as far as just there's a button quarter wedge in the lower right corner where you're tapping buttons and activating your abilities. Something much more dumbed down than even Torchlight 2 is here. Torchlight 2 here still trying to have that old paradigm of mouse and keyboard gameplay, even though at least Torchlight 1 on the Xbox had controller support. That would be the next step, I think, is that you would eventually want a controller support on portable devices, cell phones and such, and by adding that controller support. See, if I take some of these are going to be abilities that I would have to put onto the skill bar. I would rather passive skills be what I focus on. And it does seem like we've gotten... It does seem like we've gotten to the point where passive skills start to make some more sense. So then if I was going to get a passive skill over here, see, this one's actually interesting, so I'm going to take this. When you use charge for your skills, you regain some of your health. 120 health over time. And so we may just take, if we're kind of stuck, we may just take a passive skill until we start to think about increasing this more. Although I'm not sure I really even should be increasing that more than I should be increasing this for attack speed. Let's see, the left hand is doing 147 damage, so my strength still probably needs to get knocked up higher. And then the right hand is doing 130. Yeah. Strength needs to go up next time we actually hit a level, which does seem like leveling up is just going to take longer now. I cannot click on anything to actually get it to go back to the part of this map to get back to the waypoint. And there is really nothing, no respawns or anything that happen in these worlds, so you can't grind. Yeah. There's kind of a funny influence in this game too, that while it has a lot of the overlook feel of it's the first time we've ever used a waypoint. Well, while it has the overlook feel of you can't go to the city if you're already in the city, of a Diablo, it really has some Skyrim elements to it too, in that we see Dwemer-like characters. See, selling all of that does really nothing for me. Selling fish is not worth it. Selling health packs is not worth it. Although we may get to a point where selling health packets starts to be worth it. There is, I think, probably a little bit of organization we can do here. That way we can keep that menu a little bit cleaner. Yeah, but we're only keeping unique items. This is level 18, or my strength would have to go up. So next time I level up, I would want to use this. So I'm holding on to it for kind of a long time. And then I don't think we have any empty slots. So kind of quickly, I'm running into a situation where I need to figure out a way to This is 6 physical damage and part of the Cloven Hoof set. This one is 7 damage. So we can actually sell that one. Need to fairly quickly figure out a way to start improving the gems. Then I really wish there was a way to toggle visions on these to find the ones that are part of the sets. What it needs is grouping, like you would have in like Windows File Explorer. Gonna buy that and hope that's not a duplicate of something we already have. Now, I don't think weapons can actually be in a set, so looking at weapons is probably not necessary. One of the problems, certainly, with Diablo was the fact that you would constantly get only portions of a set. And that's just not what I really would ever want to have. So Grundig's pants. Let's see. Rune Master. Regent. Falcon. So we just have like several sets here. And while we got 2 pieces, one of them would be a shield, which I guess is oddly a piece of armor. But yeah, you would think that there would be a first line in these, or a row here, probably just a row here, of 5 items that would be part of a set. I guess if you look at the top left, it does say set item. So if I just look in that direction, maybe that works. Max enchantment is 1, so we can look quickly and see if anything has less than 1 enchantment. I think the answer to that would be no. Even this has an enchantment in it, so this guy is useless. And as far as I can tell, there's just no other shopkeepers in this area and nothing new going to be added. So we move forward using this train that's here in the corner to the next area, traveling to Zephyrus. Load time is long. We're getting another one of these.
The alchemist,
weird
driven
animations.
by Ordrock's dark heart, has stolen the essence of 2 guardians. The remaining guardians dwell in the barren lands that surround Zephyrus. The alchemist will surely strike there next. You must confront the alchemist before another guardian falls.
I suppose that's you in the cloak. They just didn't want to animate it based on the different character classes. Because the alchemist is in a big... Let's do one little fish and see if we get something uniquely different. Tunnel shark. If I look at my inventory as far as fishing goes, we had tunnel sharks before. Okay. So, same thing over here. Gem Smasher, Gem Saver. We have a transmuter. Combines treasure to create a new item. Combine ingredients to learn. Okay, it says health potions ×3. How's that gonna work? 1. Combine to learn ingredients, health potions ×3.
Fortune smiles.
Do that once. Mana potions ×3. I imagine we'll do that
You are
once.
fortunate.
Any unique item ×4. Interesting, I don't know what they mean by unique items there. Socketable ×3. Any unsocketed item ×1. Any gem of equal or greater level ×2. Unique items ×3. Well, here's 3 unique items. Don't think that's what they meant, though. I think they mean unique weapons, unique armor, things labeled unique. So Those are the basic recipes that I would expect, with one exception in that
Fortune favors you.
that is not combining to make a rejuvenation potion. And we can't upgrade our rejuvenation potions. So this menu, which seems like it's pretty much an afterthought, help just pops up a box, is going to have recipes unlock, but maybe not unlock very fast or very often. It may only unlock when you have I don't have enough gold to do anything, do I? It may only unlock when you move to a new area. So we have now just entered Act 2. Interesting that the game just tells you that. So
Greetings, human.
So you have these kind of, I guess, more gnome robotic characters, although they're fairly bendy, like as far as how they animate. I imagine these characters in armor bend and animate exactly the same way as any other character, and it is just all the same characters over and over again. It looks like we've got the Guardian of Air just here, which is not what I expected.
Hold hand.
One bit.
Stand to. Greetings, human.
So our quest giver's over here. And this looks like a quest giver too.
See anything you like?
So I guess what we would want to find is unique items, which I suspect you're not going to find unique items in stores for a very long time. If I think back now at the first act, having now seen it, it would be tough to really justify wanting to play the game a second time. It almost feels like what it's trying to do is make the game so short that it would be more palatable to play a second time. But then I think they've overshot that delicate desire severely and instead made a game that is just frankly not good enough to want to play a second time. Can't climb down ladders, so these characters here are just there for the artistry, I guess. I would assume that this is a gate that unlocks later to a path.
How may I serve you?
And then we have only potions and items. I'd have to assume that these golem-like creatures at some point had flesh or had a species that built them that had flesh. Otherwise it really doesn't make a lot of sense to have them wear clothing at all instead of just armor. This isn't showing how much damage per hit you're doing, but it is building up my charge, so theoretically I guess if you just needed your charge to be built up, you could practice on the dummy and with certain abilities that would be helpful. Alright, so let's talk to the Guardian of Air.
I have been expecting you.
I am the guardian of air. Yes, the alchemist has already come to the Ossian wastes and has allied himself with the vile Ezra here, presumably to aid their impending attack on Zarafesh. The guardian of mana has pursued the alchemist into the forsaken vaults, which are guarded by the Sphinx. Seek the vaults and convince the Sphinx to grant you entry. The guardian is in great danger, if not from the alchemist, then from the Netherrim.
So we get a side quest.
You have received a quest.
The Eve of War.
Welcome, my friend.
So it does kind of feel like we're going to have more of a war-like experience, where in the Diablo universe, it doesn't really feel like any one group of people really are particularly at war with each other, because all the humans are effectively just united against the demons and Diablo or whatever other major demon leader there is in one of the games. Here, it seems like even though the alchemist is a major threat, all my charge went away. Interesting. I didn't realize it went down. Charge will decay after a period of inactivity. I didn't know that. And it's kind of funny that you don't really need to know that to play the game. Yeah, the game is totally playable without understanding the rules, which is perhaps a failure in educating the player, but then it is also very standard in modern games that you just run and smash buttons and win no matter what you do. This is the type of game that is from a bygone era of a need for actual strategy and skill. Of course, I'm also playing on easy. Maybe if I was playing on the harder difficulties, I would need strategy and skills. Greetings, my friend. Welcome to Zarafesh. I'm never going to pronounce that right. I am Malik Vosh. I speak for the Zephyri. As you know, the Ezhori, whatever, are preparing to assault the city. Our military leaders, Commander Muzaffar, have apparently been captured by the Ezhori out of the Ossian Wastes. They have sent for Inquisitors to take their prisoners back to their stronghold. Once they get him to Riftkeep, they'll identify him quickly enough, and then they'll interrogate him until they know everything about our defenses. I believe you're going to the Ossian Wastes. Please rescue Muzaffar. We need him. It's kind of pointless to even look at what the rewards are right now, so we should just accept the quest and move on.
Quest.
There is clearly room for optimization there, that you could just not show the rewards, but also I could just click the accept button. Of course, there's room for optimization, and as soon as you talk to him, the quest is given and you can't reject the quest. There's no benefit. I'm gonna have to scroll out a little bit here. This is too zoomed in for my liking, at least at the moment. And I guess what we're doing here,
Hello there.
is we are just going to go in a circle around the world, and then we'll on the perimeter, and then we'll move towards the center later on. So, hello there. I wonder if you have a moment to help me out. My name is Neris. I'm an Ember Surveyor of the Empire. I've been working on a theory that used Ember can be recharged with exposure to a suitably large source of mana. My research led me to Terrak's Rift, where the mana output ratio is very high. Problem is, there's quite a few horrible monsters between me and the mana source. I'd be willing to pay you to take this burned out spent Ember to Terrak's Rift and attempt to charge it, and bring it back so we can see if my theory is correct.
You have received
Quest
a quest.
accepted. And then enemies immediately next to that area. apparently, wow, this guy has a lot of armor. He's not particularly hitting hard, but he's hitting hard enough to hurt me. Wall. So let's see if we can do this promising fishing hole. And then just blow it up and see what that did for us. I think that worked fairly well. Just as a way of saving time. I'm a little concerned because it feels like the game has started to throw some heavier characters at me. Yeah. And my armor is not particularly great. I don't have a reason to go into that area yet. So I'm trying to find a quest giver. These armadillo characters in particular seem to have a lot of armor. You would think the solution for creatures that are heavily armored would be to hit harder. Mana Bent, I assume, just gives us more mana. Not that I really wasn't using mana, my character class is not particularly magical. Although I am using some, so it's not the case that you can build a character class that is completely devoid of magic. I would assume that these stars on the map are side quests, and that the question marks or something else. So let's work our way back in this general direction to the star. These are very much leveled at the same level that I'm at, and yet it just does not feel like I'm doing enough damage. And it does feel like I am potentially going to get distracted enough that I would take damage and die. Kind of feels like shielding one man's trash. Level 22. Okay. I guess the question is there much of a balancing factor I don't think there really is much of a balancing factor. Yeah, as far as if you are the main event is really just giving me some kind of boost. Yeah, if you are one level lower than the other person, eventually you would get XP, and eventually, because it takes more XP for every level, you slowly might balance out, but I can't help but feel like I'm going to be a little under-leveled for a very long time, if not always, for the rest of the game. And I have like one item that is increasing my XP gain. These characters, which feel very zoomed out here, seem to have the ability to suck you inwards while sucking out them out. We have yet another whole new character class of enemies we're seeing. I think we probably have hit a point where we should see if we can turn up the brightness any. Well, of all of the settings, there's quite a few settings here that you could hide. No, that's just when you hit the show items button. This rim lighting says it makes it easier to see. That being said, you cannot change brightness. So I would just have to adjust the brightness in my room or the brightness on my monitor. And I guess what I'll do to address that is I'll adjust the brightness in my room outside of the game and turn off some lights. That makes it a little bit easier to see. Of course, now I'm playing video games in the dark, which probably isn't good for your eyes if the old wise tale is true. I think it actually, eyesight is just more complicated than that. And I've seen some speculation that having a computer monitor in the distance that you naturally would have a computer monitor from your eyes is actually pretty bad, because that's just not the average distance that a human's eyeballs would be looking at something. It's too much in the nearsighted range, and that you probably should have a computer monitor closer to three or 4 feet away from your eyes. Of course, how do you achieve that setup is the big question. This sure looks like something, but it doesn't seem like it actually is doing anything. Fire and electric Chance to heal. Haven't seen that really do anything. We'll take one of these. Meanwhile, yeah, throwing everything up into strength does make a lot of sense. And then inventory wise, wow, we've got quite a bit of stuff, so we might as well go ahead and deal with this while we're looking at it. We can now wear this because we're at level 20. So 154 should replace. It's slower actually, but it increases gold find and magic luck find and everything, so I would think we want to get rid of the non-unique item. Okay. And then we should just start to think, would any other item here be of enough value? I do have a lot of items, so it does start to make sense to just keep things with 2 sockets or more. Yeah. This is armlet, this is boots. Like those still would be very generic items, though. I guess we'll keep this. Should we keep it or should we just sell it? I think we just sell it and just be committed to our decision. So the only ones really to compare is +8 mana, or +4 mana, plus health, +3 strength. That's way better. Alright. And we continue in a different direction. I just now realized that it was a unique weapon that's causing the meteor strike to occasionally happen. There, I just had to use a health patch. I need to focus heavily on armor. Like there's no more getting around it. I need to swap out. Swap out my set for new armor. The game has been giving me new armor for a very long time, and I've been rejecting it simply because it doesn't fall in line with being part of a set. And obviously you can't do that forever. That may highlight an issue, certainly, though, also with what really goes on in games like this and Rydo games, in that you're really only going to get that perfect setup after you've beaten the whole game. Because in Diablo, you beat Diablo probably drops a unique item, if not unique specifically to his own drops. You probably are going to get at least a bunch of items that way. Just in the fight. Alright, let's see what we can do. Okay. So we're looking to replace boots, gloves, and shoulders. Because the physical armor on those are particularly low. And if we have anything else to consider, we should do that too. We also just probably don't have a ton of gold for enchantments. So let's think about what we're not doing. Not doing a shield. Not doing a great maul. 24 armor versus 15 armor. And that just increases the amount of gold found by 2, which is not enough. Then pants 12 versus pants 15. I don't think that's enough to change. Sledgehammer. Right.
Your pet has departed.
Okay. So what we can do is we could enchant this
Fortune favors you.
once. We can do this. And we can do this. And then I guess that would increase my armor quite a bit. And maybe we'll just focus on that for now. Wait for the dog to come back. Now weirdly, you don't have anything else you can do right now. So disenchanting something doesn't mean I could take that 1% of gold found. The only thing we really could do is we could look at our statistics. Perhaps. Let's see. Armor. Right now. It's probably not shown on this menu. It's probably shown somewhere here. Physical armor is at 60. My armor at the most goes up to 60, so when I had this equipped it went to 49 here and 49. So we are right at the cusp. obviously.
Your pet returns.
The maximum armor here. Did our guy walk away? Yes, I think he did. Well, so I only got one enchantment there. Would I really have had any gold to do another enchantment? Yes, I would have. Okay. %1 gold here and there. Does that get added up for us nicely here? Luck bonus +4. Fishing luck bonus. Gold drop bonus 7%. So that was 9% before. Average equipment level is 11. Perhaps there's something about having a higher average equipment level that would also play a role. Alright, so we'll run around in circles here, assuming that this is going to summon something big when we place the mana in the gem. Place the gem here. You have a whole animation there. And yeah, created the character and then the mana forge. Just trading blow for blow there. I can already feel my armor feels better. I'll get my Rift Ember. I can't help but feel like this summoned a bunch of enemies around. And I feel like unless I find a dead end, I'm gonna end up having to go back. No, I'm not. Long load here. When you start getting into those long loads, it does start to feel like, oh, is the game about to crash? Yeah. And we can return that item, but I think I just want to go to the Shadowy Crevice here. We did get the Eye of the Man Forged, which -2 to all stats or plus 8% damage when dual wielding. Well, dual wield. -2 to stat requirements aren't much. I guess we could look at our character panel. If we were to put this here, then that would immediately go to 71. And then, but then the amount of damage I would take is increased by 10%. And then, yeah, same thing here. That gets you to 66, that gets you to 76 armor. But I'm not really sure how much of that is true, because it is this range. So going forward, I I guess the idea is to see if 3% to physical armor. Yep. See if we've got something worthwhile to replace the 3 items that are fairly held back, the ghastly set. And once we get all 3 items fairly high enough, we'll just swap them out. But yeah, I don't like that this is a range, per se. And I'm just not sure if I could ever really throw enough points into dexterity to increase dodge to be even anywhere close to 50% of the time. I just don't think the game is actually designed to work that way. Yeah. Yeah, I really would like to know. So I'm just gonna go into this area without a quest giver. And I guess you just would defeat the boss in this area and just clear out the area. And then if you get a quest later for that, then so be it. Didn't get any new skill points. And this character sheet is not particularly as nice as I would like it to be. Like, I really would like it to be a little bit more detailed. I'd like to be able to pull up, say, this page on this side, or when you clicked on this, another page could come into the center or go to the side, or you could just double up on the information and you can put the pet panel on the left or the right. There's definitely some optimizations that could happen here. Although, if you're going to put this on a cell phone game on mobile, then it still would just take up the full totality of the screen. Of course, if you're going to play it on a modern, super ultra wide 21:9 type monitor, you would have plenty of space, so screen ratio is going to affect it no matter what. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and keep on watching. Thanks.